you. All right, so we are live. We are Facebook Live. First Facebook Live. Anybody tuning in, we appreciate it. We're getting everything set up for 009. We're going to go live here in just a little bit. So I'm ready here. I'm going to hit QuickTime and make sure I got my audio correct. Screen recording. Internal microphone. And record full screen. And then hit present. Okay, back. Boom.
I am QuickTime.
Okay, I'm QuickTime as well. I'm presenting.
Quick.
Full
Mike's
screen
good
here.
There.
We're live, and we are live on YouTube. I wonder if I can I watch us on YouTube on my phone here?
Maybe. Are you live? You have a different feed there?
Yeah, I have a different my channel. Yep, there we are, live.
Man.
Boom. We are live. It's
I think that's you.
Videos unavailable.
Uh-huh.
I wonder, did I lose it because I navigated away? Let's just double check. We're saying that we're live streaming.
We're live streaming. That's okay.
Okay. So if it is, it is. Okay. If it ain't, it ain't. We're good to go.
Now I'm gonna go with the YouTubeology that I'd say we're at a minute 32. We must be good.
Okay.
All right.
All right, cool. So we got audio going. We are live.
Red.
1, 2, on 3. Welcome in to episode 009 of the Modern Dealer Podcast. My name is David Farmer with Entice, and with me, as always, is David Bertoncini. What is new, David?
Coffee is not new, but it's working today. It's a little repeat of last week, but that's okay. I'll roll with that. But what's important today is that our subscribers and those watching, those listening on iTunes, on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit us up in notifications, roll all the way down. If you're watching us on YouTube, roll all the way down to the comments, hit us up in a comment, let us know what you think, what are you receiving from the message that we're laying out there, and give us some feedback. But as always, be sure to subscribe and let us know how we're doing.
Absolutely. We love the subscribers. We love the engagement. And you mentioned the comments on YouTube. You do have to scroll all the way down to be able to make a comment. It doesn't make sense, but you do. We'd love for you to be able to engage with us. Tell us how we're doing. Are we doing good? Are we doing bad? Negative feedback is just as important as positive feedback, but we've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far. So for everybody that is tuning in, we love the feedback. Thank you. We are going to continue. I think what I've gotten mostly, David, is, hey, we love the content. Keep up the good work. I've heard that from multiple sources. So we do appreciate that.
We're hitting a real niche, topic. So, I mean, this is clearly not for everybody, but if you're in the car business, this is stuff that I was just talking to a dealer principal on the way over here. For a dealer principal, for a GM, for an owner operator, if you're at that level of management, or even a sales manager, even a salesperson, you are going to get something good out of what we're covering. Yeah. Especially today's episode. What we're getting into is it's something I'm passionate about, and it gets me like excited just thinking about what you can do to scale. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But before I forget, be sure, as we were talking about the notifications and everything like that, turn on ding that notification to make sure you get the latest and greatest in content that we're laying out there. So don't forget us.
And before we go any further, we do have to say goodbye to something that has been kind of an integral part of the podcast so far, and we have to say goodbye to
the double O's,
the 00.
Yeah,
double O.
This is a 009, and next week's gonna be 010.
010.
So, but hey, it's been a strong 9 weeks. We do this every week. We've been trying to do it on a Tuesday or Monday, whichever works best. But it's good. It's great. It's the path to what we're going to talk about today. This is a building block to a brand, and that brand right now is the Modern Dealer Podcast.
Yeah, it is. And so for everybody that's been watching us over the last 8-9 weeks. We started this really with the mission to be able to share things that we're passionate about, not to use this platform as a commercial, but really as a place to be able to talk about what we love, give us the opportunity to research and share. Another thing that allows us to do is it really allows us to build our personal brands. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to build a personal brand. And the first thing I want to say, David, is that I think that there is kind of an arrogance to the idea of building a personal brand. I think a lot of people probably think it's a little bit silly to try to build you as a brand. One of the things I saw from Gary Vaynerchuk is that he really equates a personal brand to online reputation or your reputation. So if we talk about personal brands today, just think about your personal brand as your reputation. And it's that reputation that you're trying to build. It is using what is available to you today in 2020 and beyond to be able to build your reputation to move forward in your career. I think there's a lot of information that is going to be available in today's podcast that is going to be available for salespeople on how they can build their personal brand, build their reputation, so they can build their business as an entrepreneur. So with that, we can kind of move into the main topic. Is organic is the new paid. And I noticed I have it on the screen share right there. It's the new pad.
Well, it's
the new pad too.
It's a new pad. It's just missing I.
Yeah,
it's missing
exactly.
I. You need to be the I, and actually the new pad.
Exactly.
It should be the new paid.
Exactly. So organic is the new paid came last week to me as the idea to really represent the idea of how a person can use social media to build their online reputation. And to kind of get into this, David, what I thought would be a good idea is really let's look at the evolution of digital marketing, social media from the perspective, from our perspective. So one of the things I love about the Modern Dealer podcast is that we get to really compare what it's like today in business versus the way that it was in the 90s. So we know that the 90s really was the first decade of the internet. Now we're a couple decades removed from that. We really are living in a very mature digital era. And I think there's a huge transition that's taken place that the car business as salespeople, I don't think the process has really moved along at the same pace. So I think that's what we can talk about today in this podcast is how the internet has kind of evolved, how the car business really hasn't evolved, but really looking at what can salespeople do from an organic standpoint to build their brand. So we're kind of all over the place, but I think there is a very central theme to the way that I want to go with this podcast today, David.
So, well, going with that organic direction. I mean, let's say we always refer back to back when we were selling cars, but let's fast forward to today. And if you and I were running a store right now, and we had to hire, let's just say we were starting a dealership, like you did, you started a Toyota dealership from a brand new point, and in 90 days you sold 1,000 cars,
and no glass, and
built from the ground up. So if we had to go back to hiring a staff of salespeople, what would be like something nowadays versus 10 years ago we would look for in a salesperson versus what we would look for 10 years ago? And the biggest thing that stands out to me is if I was out there hiring, do I hire the guy that's, worked at 7, 8, 9, 10 different dealerships, he's got all his bad habits, skeletons in the closet and such. And I ask him, what are your thoughts on social media? And he's just like, whatever. I mean, he's kind of neutral, doesn't really care about it, doesn't say yes, doesn't say no to it. Versus I hire a salesperson that, hey, regardless of their age, but their approach is like, hey, you know what? I have 5,000 people on my Facebook. I've got 10,000 on my Instagram. I'm all over LinkedIn. I'm constantly posting, and that person has their own brand, but they don't have any sales experience. But if they're hungry, and they got the drive. As long as they got that drive and they're bringing a book of business to the table. I was listening to Grant Cardone a couple weeks ago, and he said, when I go to hire somebody, I'm not hiring just somebody just to mooch off of my book of business. They better arrive with their own book of business. And a salesperson nowadays that has that big of a network and sees the value in social media, that's where it's at. And they can, just building their own brand. They arrive with their own brand already.
Yeah. And for anybody that is out there listening now, if you are a salesperson and you are at zero from a social media standpoint, in this episode, we will be giving you specific actionable steps of things that you can do today to start building your book of business, to build your network. And we really start to think about it like this, David. Let's say that we are in a dealership right now and we have 30 salespeople. You think about your customer base from of who you are going to sell cars to in the next year, right? 95% of the customers you're going to be selling cars to are going to be within 20 to 30 miles of your dealership, correct?
Correct.
If you have 30 salespeople, those 30 salespeople are going to be living within that same market, right?
Correct.
So we have the ability to reach out from our salespeople to engage with customers on social media to potential new customers. So we think about the network effect. I mean, if you've ever been involved with
network marketing,
MLM, right?
Oh boy.
I mean, but you get the idea, right? So if I have 30 salespeople, and each of those 30 salespeople, they have, let's say, what the average, Facebook friend count is. Let's say it's 200, or even within a social media standpoint, there's 200. So now you just go 2 levels deep. From your sales people to their 200 friends, and then their 200 friends. That is your customer base. Those are the people that you're going to be selling cars to. So really is, how can you leverage organic to take your message and reach your customers for no cost?
Let's go back to the 90s.
Yep.
And how much, when we sold one person a car, NADA gave us a statistic that said that one customer is worth how many sales? They said 33 back then,
right,
based upon their circle of influence. And we're talking about a circle of influence of 200 people, one level deep to the next level deep to the next level of these salespeople that work for us on social media. But nowadays, that 200, it's really, it's huge. That 33 no longer exists. Now we're talking
exponential.
Yeah. It's endless with the amount.
It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah.
You're connected to everybody within just a few levels.
Yeah. And it's going deep. So
let's take a step back, and we're going to come back to how you can leverage social media. But I think conceptually we get the idea is that you have the ability to use social media. Now, a lot of dealership employees, if they're our age, and in the business, which I would have to say a lot of the management in dealerships right now are in our age bracket, in our generation. They did not grow up with the internet. They grew up in a time before we had internet. So as I was doing research for this podcast, this is kind of a funny video, and these are actually not funny commercials, but the idea behind them is quite interesting. So as I was doing the research, David, I wanted to find out kind of when did the internet really start to take place? Some of the key elements of the internet, such as www, so the World Wide Web. That was in 1990 by Tim Berners-Lee, created the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is what gave us the ability to have the internet. So even though we had the technical infrastructure in the 50s and 60s with ARPANET and so on, it really wasn't until the World Wide Web was created, and then the modern internet was created from that. So that's 1990. So in 1990, I was 20 years old. So, I grew up in that time period before. This computer right here is from 1990. So, that's kind of my history going back with it. But what I'm going to show here is I'm going to share this link, and maybe we'll include some of it on the podcast. This was in This is an AT&T commercial in 1993. This campaign is the "You Will" campaign. What will be funny is I bet you're going to recognize this from 1993, this "You Will" campaign. What's really interesting about this "You Will" campaign, it was the first campaign to use paid banner ads on the internet. So you think about banner ads today, right? Display ads, you see them all over the place. Well, the first paid banner ad was for AT&T, and it was for this campaign. So I started watching this. So this is 1993, and kind of they're talking about what the future is going to look like. So let's just watch a moment of this, David, so we can get an idea. It's pretty crazy to think about how they were predicting what things would be in the future. 1993, just 3 years after the invention of the World Wide Web.
Right.
This is very at the very beginnings of the internet. Oops. Of course, that's going to happen. If I get this to... So I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. I'm going to include this video, David, though, in the slideshow.
Yeah.
But this is amazing. So this is in 1993. They just talked about using your voice to open up a door, like Alexa.
Yeah.
Using making a phone call from your wrist, just like a new Apple Watch you can do. It is, they talk about
video conferencing,
Zoom,
and
right there.
Yeah.
You know, taking a meeting on the beach in your flip-flops. So this is 1993. This was before any of this stuff was available to us. Everything in all of these spots, some of it's even dated at this point. Of course, we can do a FaceTime phone call.
Right.
Of course, we can take a phone call from our watch. Of course, we can have our Nest cams at home, and I can watch my, you know, I can make sure my house is taken care of from my phone anywhere.
Your ring button on outside of the house.
Exactly.
I mean, just all these things that we've become accustomed to. But in 1993, to call it out like that, well, they knew what direction that technology was moving. So.
That was the future, and that is the future now. So the reason I found that I thought it was very interesting. So let's just look at the timeline right now. We're only going back to 1990. That's when the World Wide Web was created. That's what gave us the infrastructure to be able to create the internet. The first internet browser wasn't created until 1993. Commercial email was not a thing until 1994. Banner ads started in that 93, 94 era. And then we started to think about, okay, well, how is this impacting the car business? 1997, dealer.com, Auto Trader. Pay-per-click wasn't even a thing until 2000. Wow. And it's hard to even think about a world without Google, without Facebook, without iPhone, without YouTube, without email, Instagram,
LinkedIn.
So I mean, but now you think about, okay, so the people that are running dealerships right now, we grew up in a world where this was foreign, right? Now our kids, the generation of the people that we're hiring for salespeople, they grew up in this era. So now what we really need to do is explore what can we do to leverage this? Because I even though we have a generation of people that grew up with social media, I don't think that they're leveraging it in a way that allows a dealership really to grow and use it as a platform. And before I hand it back over to you, that's the idea of organic is the new paid, is that we've had to pay for access to digital platforms to be able to communicate our advertising message. We can now move into this organic age and leverage social media, our salespeople and their networks to communicate our brand story. And those are the things that I'm really interested in to see how the car business really matures from 2020 and beyond.
The going back to some of these technologies, I was just thinking as you were talking there, I had some stuff bouncing around in my head which I already forgot, but it'll come back to me. I'm like, wait,
Yep.
I remember
Sorry.
now. But no, it's okay. The just how these technologies have evolved, and with business and everything. I remember I was thinking about this, the email. When I first got my very first email, I was in the military, and
Yep.
it was either handwrite a letter and send it home, or I could send an email. And
Electronic mail.
Yeah, this was in 1995, and I was like, I had a Hotmail address back then, and
Yep.
I don't even know what it was anymore, but I still don't have that email. But it just the evolution of everything. You look at 2000 pay-per-click advertising. I mean, we were freaked out about Y2K. So maybe some of these things. Oh, I remember what I was thinking. So going back to Generation Y, how come these dealers are not leveraging social media, and the people that are working at the dealerships are not leveraging social media? I'm gonna kind of go into something here a little aggressively, because it pisses me off when I hear about it. We should probably save it for the next segment.
When we come back. Let's go ahead and take a break.
I was getting fired up because I was thinking about it. I was just like, oh yeah, this is the reason why. And I know, and I'll tell you off camera here. Well, of course, to our Facebook viewers and our YouTube viewers, YouTube Live. But it fires me up because I don't know if I should mention the name of the dealer group, but it's a publicly traded company, one of the big ones. But it pisses me off the way they operate it. It makes me upset. So what we're doing right now is taking a break.
Yep.
Before I got all steamed up about the topic we're getting into, and I was just like, oh man, because I'm getting excited about it. But so we have to reset a few things here. So resetting cameras and everything like that. This is Model Dealer Podcast Part 1. I'm saving my QuickTime screen because we put that in here in the production of the show, because my man David here does an amazing job with Final Cut.
It's an amazing tool. I've been using Final Cut and Motion now since 2009. So it's been 10 years. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years.
10 years goes by fast.
Yeah,
it seems like. What was I going to show? Oh yeah, actually I want to get to. If we're talking social media, let me just get to. Where's my stuff at? Where's my page? And do random stuff. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, maybe it's in here. Oh, it's in Chrome. That's why, because I'm on let's see. So how do I? All right. Okay. How do I open up
So go ahead.
Because to have this window open.
Hit escape.
Okay.
It'll pop it down. There you go.
There we go. So I can tap into these other ones here, because I'm going to use that a little bit here when we get into my own social media, and to talk about that here and there. So let's pull up 2 things real fast, and then I'll be ready to move forward here in T-minus 30 seconds. Instagram. Instagram's looking. Okay. And we'll go back to the Model Dealer Podcast and present. Boom. Try to roll.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and
go back to QuickTime.
Yeah, QuickTime.
This
screen record. Double check, make sure I got the mic right. Internal microphone. Test.
Internal mic.
Boom. Present. I'm going to go ahead and hit play here. It's going to get our second segment going.
Boom, I'm recording.
All right, I got camera 1.
It's on.
There we go. 2. Okay, we're ready to go. We're going to go on 3. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Welcome back in. Second segment of episode 9. We're going to get right back into it. David was going to get pretty excited about social media and some of his experiences with that. So we'll go ahead and turn it over to him.
Well, I was about to unleash the dragon, but
yes.
you calmed me down on the break. Yeah. It's like just take it easy, because I take it personally.
Yeah.
When it comes to a dealership, when I speak with these GMs and dealer principals and such, and I take it personal, because I look at, we have 3 tiers of advertising, right? Tier 1, the OEM; Tier 2, regional; Tier 3, the dealer. But technically, in my eyes, we have a Tier 4, which is your salesperson.
That's a great idea.
Your salesperson is your Tier 4 advertiser. So Tier 4 advertising, the dealers are putting a block on it, because some of these corporate held dealer groups, big ones, are like, oh, we don't want anybody to post our social media because we don't want anything negative being posted out there. I said, well, think about this. If you're GM, and I've known plenty of GMs that have, I know one just comes to my mind right away, but I'm not going to mention them. But if they got a DUI, and they were publicly, their mug shots on, social media now, it's all over the place. What's worse, that or a customer just giving you a bad review because you posted something, maybe somebody didn't like on social media? Grant Cardone and Gary Vandertruck, they both encouraged the haters. And a lot of dealers are like, oh, we don't want any bad publicity on our Facebook. And I'm like, if you don't have haters, then you're not posting enough. You need to have a balance of it. And to me, the biggest fear is like, oh, well, we're going to post something that, we're going to get some negative publicity from. I'm like, you not posting anything is the negative publicity, because you look absolutely terrible. You're not using where everybody's eyes are focused on. And, one of our previous slides, actually our previous episode, we talked about the users on Facebook and Instagram and what's up. There's the Facebook family, 2.7 billion active users on that platform a month. So you have that many sets of eyes. That's 1 out of 8 people in the world are going to be looking on their mobile device and seeing what's happening there, versus your local TV, radio, newspaper. And I know we're going to get into that, but I just get fired up when I hear a dealer that says, "Oh, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that." And they're so old school thinking. And clearly we're pitching the modern dealer and why a dealership should allow this Tier 4 advertising in the store with your salespeople in your own store posting its own content. So you could have, multiple 3 and 4 tier level advertising happening, all from organic content that we're getting into.
I love the idea of the Tier 4 advertising. I think that's that clearly communicates the idea of organic being the new social. This also ties back, and only briefly talk about this. In our last episode, we were talking about Amazon, and there was the article that we covered. There was a part of that talking about having the product be on wheels and having salespeople go out and delivering a vehicle to a customer. If you have the wrong people in your sales team, you need to make the move and you need to get rid of them. If you can't trust your salespeople to be able to be a brand ambassador for you, you have the wrong people. If you can't give the trust to your salesperson to deliver a vehicle for a test drive to a customer, you have the wrong people. Now, I blame the management team at a dealership. You need to have a structure in place to make sure you are bringing in the right people, that you're cultivating the right people. I'll bring one more point to fact that you had brought up earlier today in the kickoff of this episode, is who do you want to hire? Do you want to hire that knucklehead that says he sold 15, 20 cars per month and has been in the car business for 20 years? Or do you want to bring in somebody that is Gen Y, Gen Z, millennial, that has a social media background, that understands how to communicate, and you can teach them the process? That is the new salesperson. That is who you need to move forward with, is to create your culture. I don't want to go too far off the rails, but I did want to tie into that, making sure that you have the right people. If you don't have the right people, it's your fault. It's not theirs. And yes, you need to be able to use that Tier 4 advertising to be able to reach their network because it is your network, right?
Mhm. We'll go to tier 2 management of this. Let's just go to your dealer principal over several stores. It's on the GM, well, we don't trust your people. Well, then you don't trust your GM.
Yeah.
Why'd you hand him the keys to this multi-million dollar business
Yeah.
if you don't trust his judgment with his own people of what they're posting, what they're doing? If you don't like what they posted, take it down.
Yeah.
Just hit delete.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
simple.
Not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So let's just what one of the things I like about the podcast too is that we try to learn different pieces of information about different platforms. I'm just going to read real quick. What is social media for anybody that doesn't know? Real quick, social media are interactive computer-mediated technologies that facilitate the creation and sharing of information, ideas, career interests, and other forms of expression via virtual communities and networks. Users usually access social media services via web-based technologies on desktops and laptops, or download services that offer social media functionality to their mobile devices, i.e., smartphones and tablets. As users engage with these electronic services, they create highly interactive platforms through which individuals, communities, and organizations can share, co-create, discuss, participate, and modify user-generated content or pre-made content posted online. So that is the definition of what social media is.
We did that for my mom that's listening and watching.
Yes.
Because she's maybe a little bit under a rock, but she'll get it now. But I mean, going into Facebook, and I know we're going to cover the definition of what Facebook is when we cover this. Or you got it?
Yeah. And actually, so Facebook is an American online social media and social networking service based in Menlo Park, California. It was founded by Mark Zuckerberg, along with fellow Harvard college students and roommates. Is considered one of the big four technology companies. One piece of information that you mentioned is that currently, or as of December 2018, Facebook claimed that they had more than 2.3 billion monthly active users. So we're talking 1 out of 4 people on the planet. We're talking about everybody in your market is an active user on Facebook.
Now I'm going to get nerdy here real fast because I love cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and everything. So Facebook, think about this. Facebook is coming out with their own currency, Libra coin, to be able to transact, to buy cars on Facebook Marketplace. Does your current advertisers you're using, does your newspaper have its own currency? Does your television, does your media company you're using right now looking forward to collaborate 27 of the largest companies in every industry, from transportation, from housing, Airbnb, from Uber to, food delivery, from every industry they can cover on 27 different platforms. Facebook is releasing their own currency next year, the Libra coin, which is going to unite. They have 2.3 billion users. They look at it, each user is worth $35. When they go to this next level, they're looking to take the 3 billion people on the planet that are unbanked, that have a smartphone, that can log into Facebook and be able to transact. And I can buy, I can send money to Africa. I mean, I can do that right now with a Bitcoin, but I can also be able to do that paying somebody to do work for me in another country instantaneously.
Yeah.
And it amazes me because I'm excited about that, because there's no other platform you think about it that you can do that with and advertise on and be able to pay somebody on all at once.
Yeah, and moving through past advertising to an ability to create this organic or tier 4 type of advertising. I think this is something that really has some legs here, tier 4 advertising. So in addition to Facebook, Twitter is another social media platform. So Twitter is a micro-blogging and social networking service in which users post and interact with messages known as tweets. Tweets originally were restricted to 140 characters, but on November 7th, 2017, the limit was doubled to 280, except for Chinese. Users access Twitter through website interface, through short message services, SMS, or mobile device application software. Of note, 231 million active users as of February 2019. So Twitter, Facebook, some of the big platforms in social media, this is what's going to allow you to create that organic growth. Real quick, Instagram, owned by Facebook, created by Kevin and Mike, launched in 2010 exclusively on iOS. Version for Android was released a year later. The application allows users to upload photos and videos to the service, which can be edited with various filters. It can be organized with tags and location information. An account's posts can be shared publicly or with pre-approved followers. Of note, as of 2019, the stories featured is being used by 500 million users daily. So again, we're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. How can you grow your dealership organically? By utilizing your salespeople and their networks, by having them engage with original content, engaging content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn is the last one.
Well, you got to allow them by taking the handcuffs off of your dealer, off of your GM, off of your salespeople, and allow them to post and give them the ability to post things. And what I've noticed is I work with dealers in this tier 4 space, and what I've noticed, so far, is people don't know what to post. They're like, well, what do we post? Well, you can post the most simple thing as a delivery, but that delivery of somebody taking delivery of a new vehicle or a CPO or even 2008 car that they bought and they're excited about, that is the cheapest form of advertisement you can possibly put out there. Just post something of value.
Yeah. So one of the things I saw Gary Vaynerchuk, and I think I mentioned this on a previous episode, but actually, no, I'm sorry. This was not a quote from Gary Vaynerchuk, but it was actually from Wistia. So we use Wistia as a way to host videos on our dealership website and the technology that we deliver to dealerships' websites. Wistia is a great company, and one of the things one of the mantras that they use to be able to compel and give direction on how to create content is the idea that it doesn't have to be polished. It needs to be authentic. So authenticity over polish. So what does that mean? It means take what you got, do what you can, and just do it. You have a cell phone. You have a mobile movie studio in your hands. Pick it up, point it at yourself, record a video, and post it. You do it once, it may not be that good. You do it a second time, you get a little bit better. Third, fourth, fifth. Now we're on episode 9. Every episode that we do a little bit better job.
Kaizen.
Yeah, exactly. Continuous, constant improvement, right? So LinkedIn, we're going to skip over the description of LinkedIn. I'm sure everybody is aware of that. It's going to be in our show notes. YouTube. Of note, as of May 2019, more than 500 hours of video content are uploaded to YouTube every minute. So that's a lot of content, right? 500 hours every minute. That's us.
Yeah, we upload it takes a little while to upload and everything like that. But by far, I feel YouTube is the missing link for a lot of dealerships. I mean, this is such a huge opportunity to post simple videos, test drive videos, as we talked about in previous episodes. That is your place to park those videos and creating a brand for your people.
Authenticity,
man. And like you said, just post something. It doesn't have to be polished. I mean, Shot with the Phone is the best. I think I mentioned this before. One of the best movies ever, Blair Witch Project. Why? Because it was just raw. It was scary.
During that episode, we were talking about YouTube and YouTube advertising. And one of the statistics was that the biggest growth area of videos on YouTube were long form videos. So it's not the 15-second commercial spots. It's not the advertising where they're seeing the biggest engagement. They're seeing the biggest engagement in long form videos. We're podcasts like what we're doing right now, test drives, 8-10 minutes. It can be that long. If it's engaging, if it's authentic, people will watch it.
I am guilty of yesterday morning. I watched a 40-minute YouTube video and I bought my dream car. What was the dream car? An H1. And this guy was showing us how he stripped it down. Chris Fix, which has a ton of subscribers and a ton of engagement and comments and everything. I watched this 40-minute video on the treadmill. I mean, I was just, kind of, but I got sucked into it because it was actually really, I was like, just about to turn it off. I'm like, oh, it got better and then down and up. I mean, he had some peaks and valleys to it, but it was interesting enough to keep my attention for 40 minutes.
That's amazing. And I think it really goes to show how we have evolved based as a society on where our attention goes. 20 years ago really was the beginning of this this era of
e-commerce.
No. It's I kind of sorry. Drawn a blank. I don't know why.
Digital
one of those things. Okay, not digital advertising, but normal people on TV. Why am I not thinking of the terminology?
So non-celebrities.
Non-celebrities.
I mean, so somebody that's not a celebrity.
Reality TV. Reality TV.
Man,
just one of those things. So this is a great example of authentic, real content. I mean, I just had a complete brain fade. I could not think of that terminology. But
we're humans, man. It happens.
Yeah, exactly. So reality TV, we made this transition where everybody's just glued to just learning about the Kardashians or, TMZ Live or, whatever it is, just real authentic information. Now we've kind of even moved past that with these YouTubers and YouTube celebrities and 40-minute videos about
buying
H1s.
My dream car, an H1. And he was just showing us how he stripped it down and rebuilt it. And he spent $60,000. He bought it for like 15 grand, but then dumped another, 35 grand into it, building the thing out. It was amazing. And, you talk about reality TV, for some reason, I cannot shut off Naked and Afraid. I don't know why. It's just maybe just the naked people. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's so weird.
This is so weird. Why? I can't shut it off.
But
like watching a car accident. You're like, everybody's rubbernecking.
So what we pay attention to has changed. It's like what is interesting to us has changed from the idea of it has to be the scripted, romantic comedy to just real life, right? Authentic people. And I think that's where people will connect with you. So I think this idea of tier 4 advertising, moving to the salesperson, the idea of organic versus paid, I really believe that we're moving into this era in automotive and in all sorts of types of advertising. And let's just take a minute to look at the difference between digital media and traditional media. And before we wrap up for this next segment, and then we're going to kind of get into some specific actionable things. So real quick, digital media versus traditional media is defined, traditional media is defined as media that existed before the rise of the internet. That include newspapers, magazines, billboard, radios, and broadcast TV and direct mail. Digital media includes everything you see online advertising, search engines, social media, video streaming services, and websites. You look at dealers, sales managers, general managers that are making decisions on how to connect with customers today from a media and advertising standpoint. Is we just moved to the point where 50% of a dealership's advertising passed 50%. So we still have 50% of our advertising dollars going into aged media, right? Into newspapers, magazines, billboards, radio, broadcast TV, and direct mail. I mean, we're 20 years into this internet thing. I think it's going to stick around.
When's the last time you bought a CD?
Right?
When was the last time you're like, well, should I buy a DVD? Should I get a CD? I mean, but that's traditional media. I mean, that's traditional,
outside of online, right?
So, I mean,
so really we need to look at, as an industry, what is this going to look like from 2020 and beyond. And as we move forward in time, we know social media is here to stay. The way that we're communicating, the way that we're engaging with content, what content is important to us, that's really going to drive how we're going to be able to communicate with our new customer, right? So there's a couple of the slides here about media and expenditures. I think it's very interesting. Internet media, 56%. We're past the 50% mark right now, but we're still spending almost 50% in traditional media. And then we look at the average cost and monies we're investing in advertising as a dealership, where we dipped a little bit. We jumped back up in 2016, and we're starting to bring that back down. And then we're going to move into some specific actionable steps that we can take to leverage organic, to build our personal brand, to build our online reputation, and build that tier 4. So with that, David, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back in just a bit.
And back to you on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I know you guys are hanging in there. And we're going to take a little pause for the cause and kind of reset everything as David runs around the room and gets everything taken care of. MDP-009-PT2. Saving up my screen share.
Yep.
Get everything saved. And came up with some genius today, tier 4, huh?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. It's very good.
Hey, I've learned, a couple things, and that was something I was like, hey, there is a tier 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think anybody's ever talked about tier 4. And
a advertising first and a modern dealer podcast first.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
So I refilled a cow of coffee. Cow of coffee. I like how you did the ad, little cow of coffee. Love the editing tools.
Yeah, I love
amazing. The dings, the dings,
perfect.
The keyboard strokes. Yeah. So everything's good. Saving in less than a minute.
All right.
Getting there. And I am saved. QuickTime clear. Bam. Oops. There we go. Q. File. Your screen recording. Okay. Up. Are we on good mix, or which one are we on there? We're on social media tips for salespeople.
Yeah. So, and I'll kind of preface this a little bit in a sec.
And I am starting my screen recording.
Okay.
Right. Meow. QuickTime.
Me too.
Meow.
Going.
Count. 1 red.
Yep. Okay. And
2 reds.
And rolling.
And 3 reds.
All right. We'll do it on 3. 1, 2, and welcome back in to the last segment of episode 009. And this is the last 00. I guess when we make it to 100, we'll look back fondly on all of our initial 00 episodes.
That'd be 89 episodes. We're looking back. That's
a long time.
A stretch, man. That's 2 years.
Yeah. I think it could definitely. I think we definitely can be there. I think we're 9 episodes in now. I mean, this has definitely become part of what I look forward to. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
work. Editing. It's a lot of work researching. It's a lot of work to think about something that's going to be new and compelling. But I think it's evolving what I do from week to week. So it's definitely worth the effort. And anybody that's tuning in, I hope it's worth your effort in listening.
Their time, taking the time to listen. I mean, time is our most valuable commodity. So if you've taken the time and you're listening and you're watching, definitely appreciate it. And thanks for sticking around to part 3 of our episode.
So one of the things that I started to do on August 1st, David, is I wanted to use social media to build my personal brand or online reputation so we can get more viewers for the Modern Dealer podcast and to associate this with my company brand. So what I want to do is be able to share what I do on a daily basis with everybody else. I know that from a car business standpoint, that my perspective of it is different than what salespeople and sales managers are able to do, just based on what they're doing, for their job, what their roles and responsibilities are. So on August 1st, I started this idea of a social media tip for salespeople that I could take a few minutes every day, take my 30 years of experience and translate it into actionable steps that salespeople can take to go out there and use social media. I think that the biggest reason why people don't do something on social media is because they're, number one, they're afraid to fail.
Fear.
Right? And number two is they don't know exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you some specific things that you can do. And then all you have to do is move through your fear and just get it done. The great thing about salespeople is that you inherently have it within you to be self-reliant. You would not have taken a job as being a salesperson if you didn't think that you could be successful, because you have to go out there and you have to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go out and greet that customer as they come in. If you don't feel like you can do that, you'd be crippled by that idea and you wouldn't do it. So I think already, if you are a salesperson, you inherently have what it takes to be able to leverage that and build your personal brand, build your online reputation. So all you have to do now is take these simple steps and move forward and do it.
It's funny is a salesperson, you're on stage every day.
Yep.
You're an actor. You put on a mask. You're creating this persona of who you are and what you do. When a customer walks into the dealership, if you had a bad day before you got to the store, well, you know what? You better put that happy face on and get out there and greet a customer. Same thing with social media. Although you may not want to do it, you may not know what to do, but you still got to put on that mask and portray it. I need to put out some sort of content today. I've got to do something. And hey, I find myself guilty of it every day. Myself personally, I need to be posting something every day to brand myself and my business just as anybody else. But it all resorts back to the 3 F's. It's either fear of failure, because in the end they think you're effed.
Yeah.
So,
well, what's so interesting too is that you can choose not to do it, right? You can do what you're doing. And then you're gonna end up getting what you always got. But if you want something different for your career, if you want to move forward and sell more cars, move forward in your career, take that sales manager spot when it's available, move up to run a store, be successful in this business or any other business, it is take what you have right now, do what you can, but it takes action. So that's what we're going to give you. We're going to give you specific actions. Now, I have in this slideshow, you're going to have 20 or 30 specific tips that you can take, like this one right now. So this is a very simple idea. There's nothing that is genius about this, but it is a simple idea of what you can do right now to find content to share. So my recommendation for this very first one is just visit your manufacturer's website. You sell Toyotas, go to toyota.com. Pick any model. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's say it's the Corolla. We got a 2020 Corolla. It's new right now. It's a new body style. I want you to read your manufacturer's website for the 2020 Corolla as you were a customer. So kind of put yourself in that mindset. Now, just look for something you didn't know, that you don't know about the 2020 Corolla. I'm sure there's plenty of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take that thing and you share it. And you can create you can create content. You can link it if you want, but I would recommend create a Facebook story selfie video and start by just saying, hey, I just learned this about the 2020 Corolla. Now, that information right there, properly hashtag, customers looking for information about the 2020 Corolla, they're going to find that content. They're going to find you. And it might be, you might create that video right now and you might get 1 or 2 views. You might get no views. But if you do this one and then you do the next one and then you do the next one, once somebody finds that one video from you, they're going to go back and they're going to look at these. So it's going to build, it's going to create. And so anyways, hashtag it, learn something new every day. That's one simple thing you can do once a week, right?
Customers are going to start to binge watch you. If you got some good content, they'll be like, oh, this guy's really good. Let me go back to see what else he has. It's when, as a sales manager, one of the biggest questions we would always ask a salesperson is, did your customer drive the car?
Yes.
And half the time, no, they didn't drive the car, boss. Then why not? Oh, they just drove it up the road. So going to this here, finding something that they didn't know, I'd always tell a salesperson, great, go take them on a test drive and show them something they didn't see before. So how do I show them something they didn't see before? Great. Hey, Mr. Customer, I know that up the street, I need you to show the vehicle, but I want to show you something on this vehicle. I promise I didn't show you. What's that? Follow me. Create some curiosity. Well, just like this is like a follow me too. This is like, let me show you something that I just discovered on the vehicle. The goofiest thing I always do and show every customer, which I know they didn't show, what was it? I would actually, the seatbelt adjuster, the shoulder adjustment, you can lower it. If you got somebody that's under 5'5", you can lower it so it's not going across the neck. So I would say, show them that. Just take them on a test drive. Or there's the new software override that came out in 2012. If you hit the gas and the brake at the same time, there's a safety feature that will actually just put the motor to idle. So if you slam the brake, slam the gas at the same time, instead of the engine revving up, it just goes idle. And I can't remember, it's part of the STAR safety system. But something like that, just show them something I'm pretty sure they didn't get to see before.
Exactly. And if you create that curiosity, people love the idea of curiosity and it sucks them in. So, and you can say that when you're doing, let me show you something that you've never seen before. And it's like, okay, I need to know. I mean, it's just like clickbait, right? If you think about it, it's clickbait.
It's test drive clickbait. It's just like Naked and Afraid. It's bait. I'm like, why am I watching this car accident? But it's terrible.
So another thing is with a cruise control. A lot of people don't know that if you just click up or down, it'll automatically move you up that many miles per hour. So if you're at 50 and you want to go to 55, you just tap it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll bring you up to 55. See, you didn't know that. See, it works on every car. Yes. Wow. Yeah. So that's one thing that you can do that most people don't know, and it is something that is true. And every car I've ever tested, it works. So learn something new every day. Share it with a selfie video. Now, if you don't know how to do a Facebook story, it's very easy to do. So this is the way that I recommend it. And this is these are kind of the blocking and tackling, the ABCs of how to actually do this. So you go to your phone, right? You go to your phone, you open up the camera, you hit the little button that has almost looks like a recycle button. So flips it over, and it creates the selfie style video. Now, I always recommend kind of doing it from about up here to be able to get a nice view of you, and then record it. Make sure you have it on video. You hit record and you record it, and then stop it. If you like it, post it. If you don't, re-record it. I mean, it's a very simple thing. You're not going to run out of film. But it's a very simple way to do it. So even if you're just kind of getting used to doing it, remember, authenticity over polish. If you're not afraid to go up to a customer and say, hey, welcome to ABC Toyota. My name is David. What can I get you information on today? You should not be afraid to do that in front of a camera. If you are afraid, do it 10 times. Your 11th time, you're not going to be afraid anymore. Right. So authenticity over polish, very simple. Record it once you have it recorded. Another little tip here too that I'll share with you from a recording standpoint is if I record this, and I'll just do it real quick so we can share this tip with you. So if I hit record, so it's recording right now. Now, I'm not going to want that in what I'm going to post, but if I started by saying, hey, it's David Farmer with the Modern Dealer Podcast. We're actually live on air for episode 009. We're talking about organic being the new paid, tier 4 advertising. You need to tune in to find out what that is. Talk to you soon.
Adios.
Right. So now we still have this recording, so I can stop that. Now I have it. Now we can easily right here just go to edit, and you can just edit out what I don't want. Right.
And you shaved it down to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, right there. Now I'm done. So I just bring that right to there, and I hit done. It clips off the end, clips off you can clip off the beginning, you can clip off the end,
yeah.
and then just take what you want and post that. So there's not a whole lot of editing. You don't have to be a computer genius to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn more, guess what? You can just go to YouTube and search how to create a selfie story video, right?
Easy. Go to YouTube to learn anything.
All right, so we're 12 minutes in. We're halfway through the last segment of 009. What you're going to find in this spreadsheet or in this
tips,
in these tips is I have multiple tips. I don't want to go through all of them, but I want to just conceptually give everybody an idea of what they can do. If you want to learn more, if you go into the slideshow, they're all listed right here. You can also go into Twitter and search for the hashtag social media tip for salespeople. It's going to pull up all of our tips for salespeople. Now, hashtag. Now, everybody knows what a hashtag is, right? But I want to explain how it actually works and why it's very important for people to use on all of their social media platforms to make sure that your content is going to be discoverable. So if you're not posting with hashtags, it's very difficult to become discoverable for other people. So I'll just give you a very basic description of how a hashtag works. So once you create a hashtag, and that is just putting the pound sign, right, back the old school pound sign in front of any term without any spaces, it's going to create a hashtag. Now, once a person sees a post with a hashtag in it, they can click on that hashtag. So it becomes a link. What is going to happen, whatever platform you're in, it's going to open up every other tweet or post that has that hashtag in it. Mm-hmm. Additionally, you can do a search for hashtags and you can follow hashtags. So let's say that I'm searching for a 2020 Corolla. I see a post about 2020 Corolla. I see the hashtag 2020 Corolla. I click on that hashtag. It's going to pull up a whole bunch of additional content. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we said earlier, David, is that if you're at 0 right now for your social media platform, that's okay. You need to be able to create original content that can become discoverable for people when they're searching for that information. So using hashtags is a great way to do it. And there's a lot of great ways to get the right hashtags. And I'll let you explain what is one great way to get hashtags to make sure that you become relevant in your content.
Well, you could use a hashtag generator, but going back to the defining a hashtag, just think of it as an address. If you're searching for something in GPS, well, you need an address to go to. You need a destination.
Yep.
That hashtag is the destination for that content. So if you're tagging, all your posts, social media tips for salespeople, then every one of those tips are going to come up when somebody goes to search for, hey, I need some tips for social media. And Google being your number one search engine out there, if you post a video next to it, when of course Google owns YouTube, so that YouTube video will be the first thing to pop up organically in that search. But hashtag generators, if you're posting about the 2020 Corolla, you could just go to, there's several hashtag generators, which will give you additional hashtags because you're sitting there banging your head thinking, well, I don't know what hashtag to put on this 2020 Corolla post. Do I put, hashtag Toyota, hashtag Corolla, hashtag Corolla sales, hashtag this? There's ways to get, you can cheat, and the quickest way to cheat is just use a hashtag generator. It's applications and software out there that you can use to help come up with more links that would be relative to a 2020 Corolla. I was guilty about a 2020 Corolla.
So celebrities are a great, you want to look for some inspiration on how to use social media to grow your own business. Celebrities is a great way to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're sitting there on the point right now, you have you're in a golf cart, right? And you have you're sitting in a golf cart, sitting on the point, waiting for that customer to come in. Maybe you're looking at Facebook or whatever you're doing. Take that time and do some research on how you can use social media to grow you as a brand. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, David, as we get things wrapped up here, is that I had the opportunity to talk to about 40 salespeople last week at Sun Toyota, one of our favorite clients right here in the Tampa Bay metro area. And they asked me to come to the dealership to speak about social media. And the reason I volunteered to do this is because I wanted to share what I've learned and what I've done in the past 2 months around creating this podcast. So we are at the very beginnings of being able to really leverage social media to build our personal brands, our online reputation, the brand around the Modern Dealer podcast. So you can be on this journey with us. What we're going to look like a year from now, I don't know. How many subscribers we're going to have from a year from now, I don't know. How many subscribers we have right now, we are at the very beginning of building something, and I'm committed to putting the effort in learning how to leverage social media to build my company and my brand. So anyways, I digress a little bit. I was asked by Sun Toyota to share that with salespeople and teach them on how to use social media for themselves. So this is the one last tip that I'm going to share with all the sales managers and all the dealers, general managers out there on how you can train your salespeople to leverage their networks to help you get to your goals. So my recommendation is this: get a step and repeat backdrop, right? So a step and repeat backdrop. Think about the VMAs where everybody's taking photos.
Oh, yeah,
they have the backdrop, right?
Yeah.
They got all these logos, the MTV, VMA, all these brands. Get a step and repeat with your dealership logo and maybe your manufacturer logo. Mm-hmm. Right, so you got a couple of different logos. It's white with a blue back, with blue text, or white with red text, or whatever you want to do. But you take your meeting room, right? So I'm sure most dealerships have a larger meeting room. You almost get wallpaper or any type of large banner. You can get banners pretty cheap. Get that put up, and then take whatever your ad specials are and whatever your unique selling proposition is. Let's say you use a lifetime warranty for your dealership, or you have some sort of advantage plan that a customer gets if they purchase a vehicle from you. And you get that on like a 3 by 5, 3 foot by 5 foot foam core board. You remember how we used to do that in the 80s and the 90s, right?
Yeah, we say the newspaper ad
and put it out there, right?
Yeah, put them up there.
Same type of thing. Get your, whatever your online display ads are, get that on a big 3 by 5 or, 4 by 10 foam core board. We're not talking that much money. Put in your advertising budget, and you put that on a stand next to with the backdrop.
Right.
If you don't have good lighting, get some inexpensive lighting and create a stage, a selfie video stage. And you have every one of your salespeople do it with their face. They become the spokesperson for their network. So they can almost do a video using that as a backdrop, talking about whatever's on the specials board. So if you got 2019 certified Corollas for $14,990, talk about that. You have lifetime warranty, tell the lifetime warranty story. If your salespeople can't deliver the lifetime warranty story, train it. Right, so that's something that we used to do in a company that I used to do some business with, was train people on how to use lifetime warranty. There's a very specific way to communicate that value proposition for lifetime warranty. So you have that. You have the ad special. You even have just the end of the month story. Hey, it's the end of the month. If I sell 20 cars, they're going to give me a bonus. Please come buy a car for me this month, right? These are things that we can do with the backdrop right there, and they share on social media.
Well, you would reach thousands of people that way, but I used to have to make that phone call as a salesperson. I'm like, I'm at 19 cars. Will you please come buy a car for me? But now you just post it out there on social media. It's like, hey, I'm at 19 cars. This would be your opportunity to come get a vehicle from me.
Exactly. So that is my last tip that I want to share. We have so much more ground to cover with this, David. I know this is one of the main tenets of the Modern Dealer Talk podcast, is how to use Tier 4 advertising. Organic is the new paid. As we move forward we say goodbye to our 0-0 episodes. We move into our 0-1-0 next week. So it's a very exciting time for us. So I appreciate your time and you being participating in the Modern Dealer podcast. Do you have any words of wisdom as we say goodbye to episode 009?
Create content, organic content. Post it. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something silly. Just post something out there to gain attention, to create a brand for yourself. The most important thing is consistency. Follow a calendar and just keep posting.
All right. With that, we'll wrap it up. All right.
23 minutes. 22 minutes. Alrighty, let's see here.
All right, Facebook or YouTube Live. We'll see how this is working. All right, so we appreciate an hour and 11 minutes with our break, so we should be all right for a 60-minute episode.
Yeah, we're there. I mean, we've been doing 20 minutes.
We're going to say goodbye. We appreciate it very much. Tune in. We're going to have this edited probably Thursday and out on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you very much.
Sayonara.